Hello everyone, and thanks for coming to my tutorial on how to successfully put in a pre-lien with all the information that you need, also referred to as a preliminary notice or a notice to owner or a construction notice. They all mean the same thing. Basically, you are preserving any lien rights that you may have, and you're creating transparency around the job. Let everybody know that you are on that job. All right, so let's get started. The first thing that we do in this new portal is we create a project. And I want to explain to you what that means. This means this is the name of the property, whatever you're going to call it, the name of the project that you're going to call it, to help identify it for you and for us, okay? So let's say I'm going to call this, a new Popeyes is going in. So I'm going to call it Popeyes Restaurant. Okay, now this next piece, select a job type. It is either public or private. There's only two types. Now, public to you might mean, well, Popeyes is a public restaurant, like anybody can walk in there. That is not what public means in the lien world, okay? Public means it is owned by a government agency. So the land is owned by government agency, you would click public job. That would be a public school. That would be a county courthouse. That would be property on federal land, let's say Bureau of Land Management. On the Indian reservation, it's not private. It's publicly owned or publicly protected by the government. If you forget, you can click public, and I have a description right here. If it is a public job on public property, you have no lien rights. You can never lien the government's property. Now, you do have something else that you can do. If it is on public land, you want to get what's called a performance and payment bond, which is usually requested by the general contractor. They're required to get this by the owner, okay? If you do not have a payment or performance bond, you cannot file a bond claim if you don't have that. So a bond claim, it's similar to an insurance policy, not exactly the same. It's the best way for me to explain it though. It's like filing an insurance claim. If you are not paid on the job, that payment performance bond, that protects you and can help you to get the monies that is owed to you, okay? If you have a public job and you do not have a payment performance bond, there is nothing else that we can do for you past the pre-lien. We've got to get that. Now, we ask for it when we do your research for your job that you've requested. But I will be honest with you, these general contractors do not want to give it to us. You have a much better chance of getting it and getting it at the beginning of the job. Everyone's excited about a new project that's starting. Everyone's willing to give you information. But if the job goes bad, the chances of you getting a copy of that payment and performance bond because you want to file a bond claim, the chances go way down. People are not going to give it to you. They're going to put you off and not get it to you because they do not want to claim on their bond. Okay? Beginning of the job, request the payment performance bond. All right. This is a private job. It is owned by a company, okay? So, or an individual. So, now I don't have an exact address. We want exact addresses, but sometimes you may not know them. If there is an address, you want to get that. But let's say there's a new shopping center going in, okay? And it is on the southwest corner of Apache Trail and Signal Buttes. This is okay. You can give that to us, okay? But I'm going to show you the issue that we're going to have when you only provide us directional information like this, okay? Zip code is 85120, and this is in, I don't know, Mesa. Okay. All right, so I'm going to save it. That is a project. the name of the project, what type of a project it is, and a location. Now I want to bring something up. Let's say the project is at the Popeyes, but there's a staging area across the street where all of the trucks and the equipment and everyone has to go because there's no room around the area where this restaurant is being built, okay? And your materials get delivered to that adjacent property, and you put that adjacent property on here as the project address, you will not have lien rights. You need to know where that job is. You need to know which piece of property is being improved, okay? It's very, very important. We cannot help you with that. You are the one supplying the materials. You are the one providing the labor. You need to know where that job is. That's the first thing that you can do to protect yourself. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this. I've created a project. As soon as I click save, it is going to take me straight to the pre-lien. It's going to assume I want a pre-lien, okay? This is an Arizona job. You must have a pre-lien on every job in order to secure your lien rights. All right. Even though some of this was filled in, I want to bring to your attention, you are not done with this section. We need to know your role on the job. Are you the general contractor or the prime contractor? I want to explain the difference between that. A general contractor, let's say you're doing some plumbing on this job, okay? And you are not a licensed general contractor, you are a licensed plumber. But Popeyes directly hires you to do, your boss is Popeyes owner. The owner of Popeyes hires you specifically to do some plumbing. You are the prime contractor. So you need to select that you are the general contractor or prime contractor, meaning you are working for an owner of the property or owner of the project. Okay. If you select general contractor or prime, I'm going to scroll down here and show you. Your information is auto-filled in here. Okay. For this example, I am going to put that I'm a subcontractor. Okay, I am going to put a start date. We started Monday. Yep, this is right. That's where it is. I have a contract amount. Contract amount, $50,000. Okay, I'm providing some plumbing. I don't need to put the size of the PVC pipe that I'm bringing and the entire scope of work. You want to keep it general, yet somewhat specific. So I'm not going to say remodeling kitchen or I will. You want to say plumbing for if I'm doing the plumbing specifically. Okay, so plumbing for kitchen remodel for tenant improvements, TI. Okay, and I always suggest you do this. And related materials. It's general enough, but we're going to know there's going to be some plumbing materials. You don't have to give me a list or a paragraph or anything. This field will not let you type very much. So you want to keep it short and concise. Joint check, you can put that on it. It's just a sentence. This just explains it. This simply is a request, and it's no guarantee that any party will comply with that request, but you can put it on there. This rush right here, if you need us to rush this out, it doesn't guarantee 24 hours it's going to be out. We are rushing it, and we are putting it at the top of our queue, okay? It is going to be a priority. If we don't get the information that we need, we're not going to send it out unless you give us directions to go ahead and send it in a format that's maybe not so secure, and then we can amend it later. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. Notes. This is where you can provide us information that you want to give us that will help us in that job. I want to scroll back up here. because this right here, a lot of you might get something from the general contractor. If you're working for the general contractor or if you're working for a subcontractor that has the job sheet. You can go ahead and, I don't even know if I have a job sheet in here. Oh, I think I do have one. Okay, here's a job sheet. Let's say I've got a job sheet and you want to give that to us because it's going to be a second set of eyes looking at the same information, and we're going to verify that this is matching with, I'm going to open that up so you can see an example of a job sheet. Some people say, what is a job sheet? I want to show that to you. Except it's not opening up. Let's see if I can show it this way. Here's one. Not sure if you can see that, but here's an example of a job sheet. Okay, if you couldn't see it, I apologize. Anyways, let's move on with the video. But this is where you can drag any documents that we need. Or let's say you received a pre-lien from someone that is contracted with you, and that has job information. You can upload that there. All right, those are notes for us. This is where you want to put in the general contractor. This is important. You want to always tell us who you're contracted with. So if you are putting in your first job, you have to provide the full name, Big Bob's General Contracting. Now, let's see, if I've ever put that in, I can click this right here, select name, and it would pop up if I've ever used him before, but it's not. So I'm adding one, and then I would provide the email, the phone number, and all that. Now, let's say it's a party that I've used before. I'm calling test. I've used this test GC2 several times, so it's in here. I'm going to select it. I don't have to type it out. You only have to type the companies that you work for one time, and then you can pull them up from the drop down. All right, I'm contracted with the general contractor, so I don't need to put my name here. Don't ever put your name in these fields. We just want to know who you're contracted with up the chain. So if you are a sub of a sub, you would select this as who you're contracted with. Okay, see how this one went away? And then you would provide the name of the sub. Test sub 2. I'm contracted with test sub 2. Then that would imply that test sub 2 is contracted directly with the GC. Okay, who is then contracted with the owner. Now we're going to get down to the owner information. You may not know this, but if you do know this, if you have a job sheet, you want to provide that to us. Okay, so for ease, I'm just going to provide one I already had in here. Now, let's say I have 2 owners. You can add up to like 10 more entities here, or if you have a lender, or if this is where you would put the bond information. If it was a public job, you provide the bond number that's on the payment and performance bond. You provide the name of the surety or insurance company that issued that bond. Okay, we have to notify them of a potential bond claim. This is where you would put it. If it's a lender, you just change it to lender. Okay, you can keep adding entity after entity. If you know, let's say you have an other, you don't really know how they're affiliated or what their role is, but they're somewhat affiliated and you want to make sure they get a copy of this preliminary notice. You would click other. Okay, I don't need those for this scenario, so I'm just going to X these out. And if you don't know the owner, that's okay, but if you do, fill it out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay. Now, from your pre-lien view, I've got 3 submitted jobs. I have one job right here. I have an amendment. This job is an amendment to this job. We requested an increase of contract amount. So here is Popeyes. It is in a submitted status. I can click submitted and see which ones are in a submitted status. It's these. So you can kind of track what's going on. Now, I want to show you something. If you go back to this job, you can see, oh, here's the job. Oh, here I can view it. I don't know if you could see the one previous, but here I can view it from here. This is an example of a job sheet that gives you all the information. Okay. You will also see notes here. If we have reached out to the general or the subcontractor and the general contractor and no one's getting back to us, you're going to see things here. Left message for general contractor, emailed general contractor at this email address, spoke to so-and-so, they don't know who the project manager is. You would be able to tell if we are having some issues getting information, and you can just feel free to give us a call. But normally, if it's been about 5 to 7 days and we're not getting anywhere, we will probably be reaching out to you to ask you how you want us to proceed. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else from here. I think that's it. That's a close. Now, I want to share with you what I do on my side, okay? This is the importance of providing a good project address, okay? If there's a new shopping center going in at the southwest corner of Apache Trail and Signal Buttes, I want to show you what we do. We go to the assessors, okay, and we go see who the recorded owner is. I want to show you this. This is the southwest corner, I would say this whole area, southwest corner of Signal Buttes and Apache Trail. Oh my goodness, this does not help me at all. Look at, if you see all these numbers, these are parcel numbers. See how they're divided up like this? This is owned by Apache Trails. Is that where the Popeyes is going to go? Or is the Popeyes going to go here with this owner, LNG Apache? Or is the Popeyes going right here? I don't know where it's going. Or is it going to be inside this strip mall? I need to know that. So it's really important, if you only have directional information for us, we would like you to provide us a snapshot of this with a pinpoint. So you could go to Google Maps and you can just do an aerial view of this. You can do a screenshot of some sort. Anyway, I can't do a screenshot right now, but you could do a screenshot of this and put a dot. It's this building, or let's say it's this pad right here. It's going right there. So then I need to know that, so I put the right owner. If we don't have the right property, we are not going to have the right owner in most cases. Okay, so this is really important, and there is a risk when it comes to just providing this without a picture. This is where you could upload the picture, okay? You save the picture, you take a screenshot, you save it to your computer, and then you upload it right here. It's very important. We reach out to GCs, we reach out to people up the chain from you. Sometimes if you're a supplier, you don't know which building that is. You just know what the job request is. You just know to bring it to this shopping center. So I highly recommend that you know where this work is happening in order for you to protect yourself. Because if we don't have the right owner, you are not going to have you're not going to have lien rights. And if we don't have the right property specified, you're not going to have lien rights. All right. I think that's it. Then the other thing I wanted to show you, you can, let's go to the pre-liens. I'm going to go down here. All right, so I wanted to show you, if you wanted to now amend a pre-lien or request a lien, you want to find the last pre-lien that you did. So if there was an amendment, you would want to go to that amendment. And you want to find the last pre-lien that was done, that was mailed. And from there, you would request a lien. Okay, or you would request an amendment to that pre-lien if there's something that needs to get changed on there. So from these last jobs that we did is where you can request these other documents. you can request your waivers here as well. Okay, so I hope that is helpful in helping you determine what is important when requesting pre-liens. And I think that's it. But if you have any other questions, please feel free to call our offices anytime. We are available for you.